February 20th, 2023. I wrote this in my journal when I was 22 years old. Always remember to thank God for all the blessings He has bestowed upon you. Never take a single day for granted and always put your best foot forward. Keep believing in yourself no matter what anybody says to you. I promise you, one day you will make it as long as you keep pushing forward. So it's another typical day in the life of an entrepreneur and CEO. And I definitely could be on vacation on a beach, just chilling with my toes in the sand, not thinking twice about anything and just enjoying life with everything that I'm doing right now and the amount of money that I'm making. But at the same time, my priorities are set on growing this business and making sure that everybody's in line and on the same page and headed in the same direction. So with that being said, I don't know if we caught majority of my last call, but it was definitely one of the more uncomfortable conversations that I've had to have with my team leaders, because when you're running a business, it's extremely important to confront anything that is on your mind so that you don't hold resentment in the back of your mind 1, 2, maybe even 3 months down the road. Like when getting started in business, especially if you have business partners, you want to make sure that everybody's on the same page and understands where the direction you're headed is. And sometimes problems come up, people kind of start doing other things and not everybody's in line. And the way to fix that is just confronting the situation and handling it. Because I always say anything you confront, you can handle. So on this last call, we had a few issues that we definitely had to address. And now that we did address them, we're finally back in sync, we're in line, we're all headed in the same direction. Had I not had that uncomfortable conversation, then in the back of my mind and everybody else's mind, there would be built up resentment. And it would just lead to very slow business growth and things potentially falling apart.
So what if like someone's feelings get hurt or something, or don't even worry about that with these uncomfortable conversations?
So if you really think about it long term, had I not had this conversation, our feelings would be 10 times worse. It's much better to have a really hard conversation right off the bat and confront a situation head on or a problem head on before it blows up and becomes 10 times worse. Because otherwise you start thinking all these crazy thoughts in your head and then you're like, what the hell's going on with this thing or that person or this person? Whereas you could just sit down, talk face to face, or in this case through a Zoom call, and be like, hey, something's been going on, just want to address it, let you know how I feel about it, wanted to get your perspective. I'll talk for 10 minutes, hear me out, you talk for 10 minutes, I'll hear you out, and then we'll come to a conclusion on how we want to move forward. That's kind of how we handle these things. And it definitely happens, I feel like, in every single business, because we're all human. Everybody kind of makes their own decisions. We all have free will. We just have to make sure that everybody's in line with it. And it's important to just fix it right now before the problem becomes 10 times worse in the future.
This is a little more serious video. Has there been any major business adversity recently, and how did you overcome anything that has happened? If you want to talk about anything that's happened.
In regards to business adversity, honestly, no. At the end of the day, business is business. I don't take anything personally. None of my business partners or team members take anything personally. We work with the best. If you're not performing, then you're going to be confronted about it. And if you are performing, you're going to be rewarded for it. So at the end of the day, it's just a matter of like having these tough conversations and just keeping everybody held accountable to doing what they need to do and making sure that everybody's content with what's going on and nobody has anything in the back of their mind that's kind of holding them back or building up resentment. Because at the end of the day, we just want to build something amazing. And in order to build something amazing, you have to be unified. You have to work together towards a specific goal to achieve whatever vision you have.
So let's say you have to make a big decision for the team, your whole company, but 2 out of 3 people disagree with you. How would you go about that? Do you go until everyone agrees, or do you go if someone is outnumbered?
So yeah, you can either do majority or unanimous. In our case, we do majority, but we definitely hear out every single side of everybody's perspective. So we let everybody talk, we hear everybody out for however long they want to talk for. And then we just literally write out the pros and cons. Like, what's the best case scenario with going with option 1? What's the worst case scenario with going with option 1? What's the best case scenario with going with option 2? And what's the worst case scenario with going with option 2? And then once we just throw everything down on paper, it makes the decision so much more logical. There's no feelings involved, there's no emotion involved, it's just a logical decision. So nobody's feelings should get hurt in business. I'm sure that sometimes like emotions do get involved, but at the end of the day, it's a lot of just logical thinking and just weighing out the pros and cons and and hearing everybody's perspective. As long as everybody's heard, and then you could justify why option 1 is better than option 2, or option 2 is better than option 1, you're able to move the business forward in the right direction. My real office space is in here. You want to check it out? This is the real office space. So I've got a meeting with my entire leadership team. We take it in here. Everybody takes a seat. We close the door. Whenever I speak, everybody hits the applause button.
What the fuck?
And then we got some other team members in their offices over here. Just working. Our devs, they're sleeping right now because they're overseas, but they all take a room over here. Renzo just hopped in, so I'm gonna open up the door. You can see him come in here.
What Roblox server is this?
This is our digital office, so you can see Renzo's got his camera on.
Oh shit. So he's actually moving it?
Yeah. Yo, what up, Renzo?
It's good.
Say what up to the vlog.
What's up? Only for losing his key. I know he's not gonna add to the vlog.
All right, now it's just the boys. Let's go ahead and rate the meeting. Dylan, you can go first.
Yeah, it's good. It's 9.
9 out of 10. What feedback do you have?
I think it was good. I think just there was a lot of I don't know how we'd be more efficient with like those kind of long dialogues.
Yeah.
Because we ended up coming to a resolution. So I don't know if maybe it wasn't a bad thing.
Honestly, I think people just get impatient, but it's what we need, so they just gotta suck it up and deal with it.
I think it's just, this is like our first real ones. There's a lot of problems that have been lingering for like the past 1-2 months. But like, now that we know fix all this shit by next week, then I think the meetings will be a lot shorter.
Renzo, what would you put on it, 1 through 10?
I'll give it like a 9. There's like a lot of things I didn't realize we didn't know. So, for example, I didn't know Jeff didn't know about financing, like we should know that shit. I think we're making some good progress with the sales team that should booked closely, so a lot of exciting things for us.
Yeah, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I think it's definitely a step in the right direction. It was the first one, so tons of room for improvement moving forward. We'll be able to actually address every single thing. And that concludes our leadership call. Man, we went through a lot of stuff, but it was extremely productive. We figured out a lot of the bottlenecks we've had, and once again, had a bunch of tough conversations, but just sitting down and IDSing. What IDSing is when you identify every single issue, discuss every single issue, and then solve every single issue. So the first part, identifying, you figure out every single issue that you have. You just chart everything out. You don't really dive into it. You just write out all the issues that you have. And the next part is discussing. This is where you just dive into what's going on, why it became an issue. And then once you can finally have that discussion, you go back to the root of the source, which leads me on to the next point, which is solving the issue. That's when you can finally just dig deep and create a solution to actually break through that. And as you saw within this call, we really went back and realized statistically, like what converted better, what worked more, what will help us get to that end goal based off the data. And that's really what it comes down to. And we had all our team leaders on the call. So like our sales team, we've got about 18 people on there right now. So we had our sales directors on there, and they just cascade everything that we went over to the entire team. So it's productive. Everybody on the meeting has a major role in the company. They know what's going on. Everyone's in the loop. And now we're able to take the business in the direction that it needs to go. I think the biggest problem is that most people have bullshit calls within their businesses, and it doesn't really get anywhere. People don't want to attend. It's like kind of just a BS thing where you just talk to talk. When we have these calls, we really dig deep, identify every issue, discuss every issue, solve every issue, and we just make sure that we're on the same page and headed in the right direction. We do this every single Tuesday. We start exactly at 3:30 p.m. Central Time, and then we end exactly 90 minutes later. So we try to rip through everything as fast and as deep as we can, and then we sort out our to-do list on how we're going to solve it, and then we chart everything down, and then on our next call, we're able to go back, look at the numbers, address the to-do list, make sure everything's solved, and then go back into IDSing with what's going on, identify, discussing, and solving all the issues.
So someone that built up something all by themselves, from ground up, but then now they got, people under their wing. How would you go about making sure they're getting shit done that needs to get done, but now you're relying on them?
Yeah, first off, you got to realize that to go far, you need a team to work around you. You can only go so far as a one-man team, and you can't really wear all the hats at such a large scale. So you got to understand the power and having good people around you. And in regards to growing that, you just need an operating system to actually manage your business. So this is our operating system. The way that I handle this call, we followed the same exact structure, and we do that every single week, same time, same exact way. And it's how we're able to break through all the issues that we have in the business. Making sure the right people are in the right seats and everybody's held accountable to do their job at the highest level possible.
And I see you started your call with everyone has to say good news. Is that how every call goes? One piece of good news?
Yeah, so for the first 5 minutes, it's called a segue. So instead of just getting right into business, you just start off on the right foot. Go around the room with all the team leaders. Everybody shares one piece of business good news and one piece of personal good news. And kind of just like hypes everybody up, everyone gets excited, and it transfers your mind from working in the business to on the business. And then once you do that, then you can just break right into the scorecard reviews and then look at the numbers.
So you don't look at that as wasting time, if anything, positively?
Definitely not wasting time, because it's just boosting morale within the team leaders, because everyone gets excited for everyone. It helps improve the company culture, and it's just a good segue to start the call.
Yeah.
So I kind of choked by taking my meeting in that little dark office. And then I came out here and I was like, damn, the sunset looks sick. So mental note, next time, take my meeting right over here. We are back in my unit, been locked into calls, literally back to back all day. So the only time I have to myself, which is right now, typically just go to the gym, get a workout in, ease my mind, and helps me relax. So I'm about to take you guys with me to the gym. We're hitting a little shoulder and trap day, so it should be a good lift.
I got a little bitch from the hood, I call her gang, she don't play with that bass shit. I be fucking this NBA nigga bitches, you know I ain't never gonna say shit. New contract big like I play ball, little boy ain't nothing to play with. I told her pull up, she told me she can't, her nigga be sharing location. I was riding in the ghost with a ghost gun, seen you out with your kids, so you old one. And my man in the can while you taking out the trash, you gon' pop with the mat like don't run. Gave up here, they all get high, you ever had a foursome. There's too much cash for me to hide, I had to get a little bro some. I fuck around from time to time, I don't show no emotion.
Before even getting started in business, I learned very fast and very early that 90% of the time, things aren't gonna go your way. And knowing that in my head, I'm able to bounce back and pivot extremely fast. And I think it's just a muscle that you have to build in the back of your mind, because as an entrepreneur, as a founder, majority of things aren't gonna go your way. You could plan everything out strategically on a piece of paper, create a roadmap A to Z, and there's something that's gonna go wrong. And that's just human nature. That's how business is. Things fall apart all the time. 100%. I just had $40,000 help over the past month that just recently got released. And I still have to pay my team, even though it's like money that a lot of people make off commissions, but like it eats into my margins. And I have to find a way to make sure that everybody gets compensated fairly, even though I have to deal with all these different issues like processors holding funds and reserves being placed on certain accounts. When I lost my first client, I think it's something everyone goes through, and if you say that you haven't gone through that, you're bullshitting yourself, because everybody goes through that phase. But there's two ways to look at it. You can look at it like, oh shit, like my service sucks. I don't think I'm capable of helping XYZ niche scale with this offer. Or you can look at it like, all right, I fucked up. Here's what I can improve on. Moving forward, I'm not gonna make the same mistake. So it's just like pivoting in a way where you're learning from every single lesson that comes upon you, instead of letting it drag you down. So for me, when I first started in entrepreneurship with my first company, from day one, I knew it was gonna work. Because I had that mental belief in my head that if I don't quit, then nothing will stop me from achieving my goal. I didn't know how large I could make it. I didn't know how big I could scale it. I didn't know where I'd be in a year, 2 years, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, but I knew that I was gonna be in a better place than when I first started. And having that mindset from the get-go, from the jump, I think really propelled me forward, because I gave myself no option but to make it happen. And I know now that if you continuously push towards a specific goal, then there's nothing stopping you from achieving that goal unless you quit and throw in the towel. So in order to get your foot in the door with the right people who are extremely high level, you have to have a certain type of skill set that could add value or contribute to their life too. So for example, my videographer here who's recording for me, he was very new to the space. He didn't really know anything about entrepreneurship, running a business. And since building a relationship with him, he's now running an agency that makes him $20,000 a month. And the reason why he was able to get his foot in the door with me and my circle, who I also introduced him to, is because he added value into my life by proposing very highly edited videos, which was his one skill set at the time.
For me, it was always about, I've always believed in cashing chips out of my way because, like, it's going to get to a point where you can only have so much money saved up. I mean, even...
February 20th, 2023. I wrote this in my journal when I was 22 years old. Always remember to thank God for all the blessings He has bestowed upon you. Never take a single day for granted and always put your best foot forward. Keep believing in yourself no matter what anybody says to you. I promise you, one day you will make it as long as you keep pushing forward.